Hey football fans, I'm Alex. Welcome back to my YouTube channel. Today I'm going to talk about the three best games from last Saturday's college football and as well as last Sunday's or last Thursday's NFL games. In college football, we're going to start off with the Oregon Ducks versus Ohio State. In that game, the number 12 ranked Oregon Ducks were able to defeat the Ohio State Buckeyes, who were ranked number 3 in the nation. The game was electric. It was intense. The game played in Eugene, Oregon. It was a great game to watch. And when I watched that game, I really enjoyed how the Oregon offense was able to outperform the Ohio State defense. And it's rare to see because Ohio State has been known for having terrific defenses, and the offense has been so good in their running games that it's amazing to see that Oregon was even able to outrun the Ohio State offense. The Oregon offense with C.J. Verdell at the running back rushed for 161 yards, and then for a total of 35 points, they won the game 35-28. Marking the first time in 3 seasons that Ohio State has had to lose in a football game. The next game I want to talk about is going to be Texas A&M against Colorado. Now, it wasn't a high-scoring game as compared to Ohio State and Oregon, but it was a close game and a very crucial game for the A&M Aggies, who were ranked number 5 in the nation at that point. The Aggies were without their former starting quarterback Kellen Mond, who had already graduated and gone to the NFL draft, playing right now for the Minnesota Vikings. But in his absence, he was succeeded by a quarterback named Haynes King. Unfortunately, though, in the first quarter, Haynes King suffered a lower leg injury that forced him out of the game, leaving the game in the hands of Zach Calzada, the backup quarterback for the A&M Aggies. And in that game, a lot was at stake, especially the Aggies' ranking, because without their starting quarterback, who was going to lead the offense? And watching that game, you saw that Zach Calzada was not in control of the game. He wasn't ready. He wasn't confident in his passes. He was 18 of 38 in passing, meaning less than 50% in his passing. Only over 180 yards, 1 touchdown, and that was the only touchdown for the A&M Aggies. Throughout the entire game, the first 3 quarters actually, Texas A&M was down 7-3 against the Colorado Buffalo. Eventually, in the fourth quarter, Zach Calzada was able to find Isaiah Spiller for a 10-yard touchdown, and it was a close one because there were a couple of turnovers that could have been crucial. And you saw that the Colorado defense was giving it its absolute best, led by their best linebacker and best secondary. And in that game as well, one example of how good that defense was, the Colorado defense, was when Zach Calzada was about to run for a 9-yard touchdown, and as he reached for the end zone, the ball came out. Now, originally, the refs called it a touchdown, but at instant replay, they noticed that the Colorado defense actually punched the ball out at the half-yard line, and because it was recovered by the Colorado Buffalo, that resulted in a turnover, giving Colorado the ball back. They weren't able to score. A&M was able to get the ball back, and eventually in that drive in the fourth quarter, they scored that game-winning touchdown. And so now A&M is going to be without Haynes King for a indefinite amount of time. We are not sure how long he will be out. It is a lower leg injury, and it could be 4 weeks, it could be more, but it all depends on what the trainers say. But as of right now, Jimbo Fisher has not announced the status of Haynes King or how long he will be out. The last game in college football that I want to talk about has to be Florida State versus Jacksonville. Florida State is part of the Power 5 conference, one of the 5 really good conferences in college football. Jacksonville State is not. They're from the group of 5, which is a non-Power 5 school. And Jacksonville State, being down 17-14, needing a field goal to tie it and go to overtime in the fourth quarter. Instead, they get a touchdown on a 4th and 9 play. They were at around their 40-yard line, meaning they needed at least 10-15 yards to get into field goal range. And on a deep pass to their wide receiver, they were able to get into the end zone for the game-winning touchdown with no time left on the clock. There was only 6 seconds left on that 4th down play, and they were able to use up all that time on that deep pass to be able to score the touchdown. All right, let's go ahead and transition to the National Football League. And the biggest game I witnessed, there were 3 games I saw, and all 3 of these games that I really enjoyed. The first one had to be the Cleveland Browns against the Kansas City Chiefs. In that game, the Cleveland Browns were looking to get their revenge against the Chiefs after the Chiefs defeated the Browns in the playoffs last season. and the Browns were able to lead the game most of the time. They were leading 11 points throughout the first quarter. However, that did not stop Patrick Mahomes at all and the Kansas City offense with the help of Tyreek Hill. Baker Mayfield and Nick Chubb were both having really great games, with Nick Chubb getting a couple of touchdowns. Kareem Hunt as well playing as the relief running back, helping and tiring out that Kansas City defense. However, a couple of turnovers and great special teams cost Cleveland the game. And let's not forget some really good offense by Patrick Mahomes, who proved that he is worth the $45 million a year. Patrick Mahomes in one of the first drives in the third quarter, after getting the ball back from the Cleveland Browns, he threw a deep pass to Tyreek Hill on the other side of the football field. It was a little bit underthrown, but it was a huge throw, and you can tell how good his arm is because he was running with the ball. He was about to get tackled. He threw it high into the air, almost similar to how he did it in the Super Bowl against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. The only difference was in the Super Bowl, he didn't catch the ball wasn't caught by the receiver. In this one, Tyreek Hill was able to cut back a little bit, grab the ball, run into the end zone for a touchdown to help get the game even closer, only needing 4 points to beat the Cleveland Browns. And then eventually the Browns were forced to give the ball back on a blocked punt. And next thing you know, Patrick Mahomes on the first play, touchdown pass to Travis Kelce. They were able to take the lead back, and they had stayed pretty much with the lead the rest of that entire game. The Browns did have a chance to be able to kick a field goal or to go into overtime or score a touchdown until Baker Mayfield had thrown the interception, effectively ending the game. The next game that I want to talk about, and it's going to be the Thursday night football game, the season opener, the Dallas Cowboys versus the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Both of those teams played tremendous. And the Dallas Cowboys offense, whatever worries that people had about Dak and the offense being able to play to the expectations they were last year, I'm pretty sure this game proved how much Dak has been, how much of Dak's ability from last season he was able to keep this season. In that game, Dak had 3 touchdowns. He also had 400 yards passing, and he was terrific in that game. He had one of the biggest plays that I really enjoyed watching was in a second and goal. The ball was snapped, and it was a low snap, so Dak had to grab the ball, and with pressure under him, he threw it to Amari Cooper, who was just completing his route, and Amari Cooper tiptoes, catches in the end zone for a touchdown. Tom Brady and Rob Gronkowski did a tremendous job together as a dynamic duo. Gronkowski getting 2 touchdowns for 91 yards in that game, and it just showed how much Brady and Gronk knew each other and recognized each other's abilities. One of the most significant plays in that game was near the end of the second quarter, where the Dallas Cowboys were going to blitz Tom Brady, and Tom Brady, knowing that either Micah Parsons, the middle linebacker, or DeMarcus Lawrence was going to cover Rob Gronkowski, as soon as he recognized the play, seeing that DeMarcus Lawrence was not going to blitz, but instead Micah Parsons was going to go in, he knew Gronk was going to be able to outrun DeMarcus Lawrence. And so he threw it in less than a second to Gronkowski in the air. Gronkowski was just completing his route, and he was looking at Brady the whole time because he knew he was wide open. And the ball was caught at the 1 and walked right into the end zone for the touchdown. And so a great game, eventually going down to the wire. The Cowboys were able to score a field goal to be able to lead the game 29-28. However, they left Tom Brady with 1:20, which is more than enough. It's an eternity for Tom Brady. He was able to take the team all the way into the 20-yard line and score what would be the game-winning field goal. And so now the final game that I wanted to talk about that was a really good game, the Monday Night Football game against the Baltimore Ravens and the Las Vegas Raiders. This was the first home game for the Raiders with a packed stadium. And oh my goodness, it was awesome. It was a really good game to watch. Both offenses doing a astounding job against each other. Derek Carr was able to have a couple of touchdown passes. The Ravens started off with the lead 14-0 at the second quarter. However, Derek Carr and the offense were able to make it 10-14 going into halftime. Eventually, the offense started developing Derek Carr with his tight end, Darren Waller, who has the potential of being one of the next great tight ends because of, 1, his strength, and 2, his speed. For a tight end, you're mostly supposed to be a really strong, tall player Not really supposed to be that fast, but Darren Waller is an incredibly fast player who has a body similar to Tim Tebow, which makes it difficult for people to tackle him. And so Derek Carr and Darren Waller were able to help out that Raiders offense and get them into tying the game in the fourth quarter, 27-27, going into overtime. And overtime, this is where all the fun. This is where the fun began. No, actually, no. This is where the fun got even funner. And the reason I say that is because the Raiders get the ball in overtime. In overtime, if the first team with the ball scores a touchdown, the game automatically ends. However, if a field goal is kicked, the other team gets a chance to kick a field goal. And then once the team with the ball first punts the ball, it's fair game. So whoever scores first would win. Well, with the Raiders, when they got the ball first, they were getting near field goal range. Derek Carr finds a wide open tight end. He throws it, and the tight end is running to the end zone. He leaps for the end zone, and the refs had initially called it a touchdown. It was so crazy that the fans started celebrating. The players were starting to come out. They were hugging each other, celebrating. Both sidelines were actually getting ready to leave and go into the locker room until the official said the game is not over until we put it under further review. And once they put it in review, they noticed that the tight end was down at the 1 yard line, meaning the game was not over. And so the Oakland Raiders at first tried 2 running plays, a quarterback sneak, and both of them didn't go anywhere. On the third down, they were going to run it again, and a false start on the offense, causing a penalty and going 5 yards behind. And correction, actually, it was on 2nd and goal. So on 2nd and goal, they're moved back 5 yards, and Derek Carr looking to throw the ball. He throws, the ball gets tipped in the air and recovered by the Ravens defense for an interception. Now, normally when a turnover like that happens, it really demoralizes the team, and so everyone is expecting the Ravens to probably kick a field goal and win the game automatically, and it would be a big letdown for the Las Vegas Raiders. However, Lamar Jackson, at the 40-yard line, is stripped, sacked, loses the ball, and it's recovered by the Las Vegas Raiders. The Raiders only needing about 10-15 yards to kick a field goal and automatically win the game. They end up winning on a touchdown. And what happened was the Ravens called a blitz. Derek Carr noticed it, finding a wide open receiver on the field. He throws it deep into the air. The receiver catches it and just walks right into the end zone for a touchdown. And so that is why that game was one of my favorites from this week, and it was just because it was a great show of offense, the defense stepping up at the last second when needed, and literally anything could have gone wrong, and it did. The Raiders with that interception, Lamar Jackson with the fumble. Lamar Jackson even had another fumble prior to that one, and you can just tell that this game could have gone either way. All right, guys, thank you guys for watching. You guys have anything to say, please feel free to comment below, subscribe to my YouTube channel. I'll see you guys next week.